I'm going to try this again. I usually do these meditations on my computer, but these phones, their technology is getting so advanced that you can just do it on the phone and it works. And of course, that's great, but we got to watch ourselves and make sure that our humanity is not repressed by technology, which can happen very easily, and especially on this topic. Because over the years and now, when it comes to working with people and helping them sort through their issues and battling their demons, this question comes up, or many different versions of it, a lot, which is, why do women seem to be awakening much quicker than men? And where are all the awakened men? Where are they? And of course, that's a gross oversimplification. It's a very limited generalization of awakened or awakening or enlightenment. And it isn't black or white. It's not, here's unawake, here's awake. It is on some levels, but it's way bigger than that. Because we are way bigger than that, but we just don't realize it. The world has taught us to be in tunnel vision, just in this little tiny narrow view of who we think we are. We get stuck in it. So there's so many different ways to unpack this. So let me simplify it again. Let me make another generalization. You could say, why, as a species, do so few seem to be waking up beyond who they think they are, beyond ego, toxic ego, beyond all the issues of the world and the personality traits we've been taught to basically become addicted to, all of that. So as a species, where is the awakened species? That's what I would ask, because anytime I go anywhere and I look around at what we've done, at what point do we start to take responsibility for ourselves individually, which is really the key at first, but how do we do it collectively? Because that's definitely not happening to the degree that, we would need it to create solutions and healings. And of course, others would say, oh, it's perfect exactly the way it is. And yeah, there's a lot of truth to that too. But again, there's so many different varying degrees that go into trying to assess who and what we are and why we exist in this world, that there's just so many layers and levels of it that it can be mind-boggling, and it can mess up our thought process. It can mess up what we believe our purpose in this world is, which is basically at some point to support, using consumerism to support patriarchy. Because let's face it, we live in a world where the patriarchy is toxic. And that means the idea again of the titans of industry. This is something that is created by men. And no matter where you go around the world, you can see it in those cities, in the thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, and actions of men who are destroying and poisoning this world because they can't get out of their penis. And again, that's huge too. This is obviously it's a huge thing, and there's so many different layers and levels and mentions, but look at what we are valuing. Look at what we are supporting. we're supporting and we're valuing consumerism a lot. We live in a world where the patriarchal institutions teach us that we need to be obedient, observant slaves so we can buy all kinds of trash that no one really needs. And the whole time we're missing out on the most important relationship there ever could be. And that's simply the awakening of who we think we are, the conscious mind into the non-conscious mind, which the ratio that some say between conscious and non-conscious is 1 in billions. I mean, so you could say, where are all the people who have woken up or become awake to that, right? Because when you look at it and you classify awakening like that, it's like not a whole lot of us, but that could change very quickly. And so back again to the patriarchy. It's masculine driven. All the institutions of the world are either funded by it or influenced by it, and it represents society, civilization, the structures of it, the buildings, the destruction of the planet to make all these factories and companies and all this stuff all over the world. That is patriarchy. And is it any surprise that they've made it all about being masculine? Even God has been made to be a man. And would Jesus approve of that? Is that right? Is that balance? I think it's pretty obvious, right? So where are we at as a species, and how do we move beyond it? And so men are suppressed by this patriarchy that tells all of us who we are and what we need to be. And it's so off balance, like the masculine to the feminine. And I'm talking levels of toxicity, okay? Just to simplify and make that clear too. The way we exist in this world is so toxic on the masculine side. It's just like, it's just way, way out of balance. And yet we exist on a celestial body that is very feminine. And she could have already ended all this for us. And I'm sure she has in the past. But for right now, we're here. We're being allowed to be here. And so women are being supported. All of us are being supported to this predominant feminine energy that's actually the majority of all the energy in here. And the patriarchy is tiny. It's this little tiny compared to the feminine energies. And so men are afraid to feel, because it's not just who we are in this life. It's just not just what we think our role and to fit into civilization is. It is, we've, all of us, no matter what our gender is, we've inherited countless generations of behaviors that are quite toxic, you know? And we all know that men abuse sexuality. Women do too, but men do it tremendously. And I know because I have a man's body. I know what it's like to be just driven by your sexual urges and not know how to contain it. And I talk to men now, even in their 60s, they still haven't gotten it together. They cannot figure out how to get out of their dick and into the rest of their body. But again, now we're in a place where we can actually unpack all of that and get it together, right? So if we have all of this ancestral abuse of sexuality that comes through all of us, a bigger question might be, of the population of our planet, me and you, all of us, how many of us came from a planned perspective, right? Compared to how many of us are here because there was a selfish sexual urge. And that is like unplanned, not even hardly any care. I would say that's most of us. Most of us, really, right? If we're being honest with ourselves and we're being objective, then I think it's very, very obvious, right? And I know we're going to jump to a meditation quickly, but I want to set the stage for this. I want you guys to understand the mindset, because it's a huge, huge topic, and it's very important, especially at this point in the world with everything happening. Drinking the feminine water, which the patriarchy has poisoned, and that we're actually a part of without even meaning to. We consent and we add to the toxicity of this world: air, water, food, our internal balance, our internal awareness, all of that. So if most of us are here, probably because our parents, at least one of them, was selfish, right? And a man who's thinking with his dick and who isn't in tune with the rest of himself, that brings us all into a very immature state as a species. And the reality is, we are the evolution of what it is for us to be here in these bodies is not immature at all. It is extremely advanced. Meaning these bodies, and those who know me know, we talk about this a lot, we all are a super intelligence. It's causing our hearts to be, it's causing every system and gland and organ in our body to function. And that is advanced. Some kind of invisible energy that knows how to do that. But look, how many people pay attention to it? Not really, right? Like, so the overlay is that because of this patriarchy and because of all the unseen collective elements that were never healed, where of trauma or sexual abuse that was never remedied, and most people die with that energy and it goes into the collective field. If we can make active choices to be objective, and just so you know, like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with sex or sexuality. I mean, I could say that, right? Depending on how much of a generalization I want to make, but let's look at it for what it is. We are very advanced, but our knowing and knowledge of that, our intuition, our instinct of it is very unadvanced. It's very, very small. And we have unlocked potential, but nobody can activate it except for you choosing to do it. So let's get into this, because I do notice that of the awakened people, there is more women than men. But again, as a species, there's hardly any of us. Not to include myself in that, with my toxic belief that I'm an ego and that's all I am. Again, let's transform this. And this is probably going to be an intense meditation because it's an intense topic, right? Because at what point do we draw a line in the sand? At what point do we look at all of this objectively and just choose to be these empowered advanced beings that we are and live in harmony with that internal influence that also allows us to control selfish sexual urges. Me, just to let you know, I have been celibate and abstinent for years now, and I've spent most of my life that way. Not because, for a long time I didn't do it intentionally. It's just I was out in the middle of nowhere and it didn't come up. I was living in a different way where I was getting in tune with what I see to be nature. But then you go into a town or a city, the whole thing is grids and it's like a computer chipboard. It's not a natural, living, organic system like we are. So let's transform that. Let's take all of this toxic humanity and let's bring it back to us, the individual, taking responsibility for however great or small our contribution is to the toxicity of the world. And as a people, let's unite from the heart, from the mind, from the gut, from the soul, animating all of us. We all share that, bar none, above and beyond everything. So, it's okay if you're not here live, if you're not catching this as I'm doing it. Don't worry, this isn't going to have an expiration date on it anytime soon. So get comfortable. And find a place where you can really relax your body. Because like that ratio, the one conscious awareness compared to the billions of unconscious awareness that we all are, that is in every single one of us, no matter what is between our legs. We're tuning into that. We're tuning into all of those strands of DNA that can be enacted and opened up and supercharged simply by being aware of it from a heart-centric place that's balanced by every other system of our body. So you're relaxed and you're able to feel safe and comfortable. And you're choosing to take your awareness off of the things you normally think about and project and stress out about. You're surrendering that right now. You're letting it go. And you're choosing to take the one conscious awareness of yourself and you're turning it around 180 to face the billions of unconsciousness that is you, that is in you, and that is actually seeking to get all of our attention. Because when we do that, right, it's such a simple concept. When we take the small awakened aspect of who we are and we turn around, we face the dormant energies, belief systems. We face that until there's nothing left except for just openness. It's almost like looking into the abyss, but we are that abyss. So you're relaxed, slow your breathing down, gentle but deeper, slower. And you're making a choice to turn the part of you that's in a daily routine, and you're turning that part of you so that you are facing this non-consciousness that is also you. And that means you're taking awareness, which is actually powered by this non-consciousness. Just like it's causing our heart to beat, our lungs to breathe, it's causing everything in our bodies to work together. And if one part of that was suddenly to just break or be removed, the results could be catastrophic and immediate death. But most of us aren't at that place, at that point. And that means that just like the feminine celestial body that allows us to be here, that means that whatever you call this soul, this energy that you are, it is also allowing you to be here by supporting you, by using this miraculous spark of life that is super intelligence to animate you, all the systems of your body. It's already happening. Your organs are your best friends, your soul family. So you're relaxed, you're breathing slower, and you have awareness that you are actually miraculous. And that even your awareness of life's daily stress, the only reason that's happening is because this energy in you, that is you, is allowing you to have it. And that is cause for celebration. But when we're stressed out and we're taking life for granted, it's easy to forget that. Because it's clear that most of our species is in collective amnesia of this miracle superintelligence animating us. So together we are waking up to that. So your body's relaxed, you're breathing slower, deeper, and also gently. And at the same time, you have this awareness that no matter what your life is like, or has been, or the struggles, it has brought you right to this point that you're at right now with me, or near where I am, based on if you watch this later or whatever. But regardless, it's bringing you to this message, reminding you of what you are. and what you have the potential to be, and what we are and what we have the potential to be is so much greater than we could ever imagine. And words don't go there, but our knowing of it is, and it can go there because it already is there. And the more we take our awareness, we turn it right back at us, 180, we are looking at ourselves. And by acknowledging that you are this miracle of life, this super intelligence, when you really ponder that, it creates awe and mystery. And your heart opens up because you know that something incredibly profound is taking place. And it's easier to be lighthearted because obviously it's so big. We know that. We can't focus on anything that big. Not yet, anyway. But it is focusing on us. And it's so funny because some people, they try to talk crap about positive thinking, positive feeling. But I tell them, if you don't think that being in awe of the mystery of life actually benefits you, then start negative thinking. Start negative feeling and stay in that. And I guarantee you'll see that works. So we're turning our face and we are facing ourselves. We become soul reflective mirrors. And we're seeing beyond our daily routine. And we're recognizing the awe, the mystery, the power, the profundity. And you can feel butterflies in your tummy. You can feel like you want to giggle. Because no matter how much you're suffering, even your suffering is simply this energy that we are, that allows us to be here. And quite often, suffering is its way to get our attention. And when we choose to pay attention, attention pays us. I know, cheesy metaphor, but it's true. When you pay attention to what you are, this uncontained superintelligence that's not bound to its body, it only does that because we unknowingly lock it up. And when we give our attention to this soul miracle that we all are, that intelligence pays attention that we are paying attention to it. And that is called a relationship. And when you begin to value that relationship, the more you begin to understand that it likely is the most important relationship in our lives, because without it, we obviously wouldn't be here. And so to open your heart and your mind and to express reverence, gratitude to what it is that we all actually are. When we open up that part of ourselves, this miracle we are amplifies it. And the best way to do this is to just be so relaxed, breathing so gently and deeper, feeling the awe and mystery of your life experience. And whether you're stuck in your head or the head of your penis, yeah, I know meditations can be crude, but most people overall as a species are stuck in certain parts of their body. And that is by design. Because if we don't realize it, we don't move beyond it. But when we consciously acknowledge that our self-awareness is in a particular part of our body, like maybe we're thinking too much in our head, maybe we have physical pain from an accident that happened years ago that keeps haunting us and reminding us of the trauma and the pain it created. No matter what it is, like your adrenal glands just stressing out, fight or flight. No matter where in your body you seem to be overdwelling, your pain, your struggle, the thought and feeling loops that just have happened so many times that they're just so normalized. When you open up to that and acknowledge where the bulk of it is in your body or in your field, your emotional field, when you open yourself up to that and you acknowledge it, before too long, that part of you reveals why you were getting jammed up there. And with that realization, you begin to graduate from the levels that you're usually trapped within. But your attention, your awareness is the light of whatever you call this super intelligence. And when you take the light of your awareness and you shine it in the dark and on the shadow that can be physically within you, or that could be passed down to you from generational issues that were never resolved. And so when you open up to all of this and you begin to graduate from one old trauma or thinking and feeling loop from the past, and with each one that you take this idea of being the light of your consciousness, a soul reflective mirror, and you shine that light on the dark inside of you, that dark is so with you. It is so necessary, and it is begging for the light of your awareness. But maybe you don't hear it because it's pretty clear that most of us don't hear it. Or if we do, we just think it's something other than the part of us that is the intelligence, the awe and mystery and miraculous manifestation of something that so far exceeds words, that to even take part in the tiniest bit of it creates ripples and waves into the existence of your own being, your own body. And with that ripple through time, you are literally opening up all the different layers, levels, dimensions of you start to become self-evident when you shine the light of your awareness in the dark places that are literally asking you, calling out to you to give them attention, because you graduate. The light and the dark, yeah, that is very black and white, but it is the most necessary of it because they are equals. But living in a patriarchy, knowing that we're toxic, and that we keep repeating these toxic habits of valuing everything but the miracle of life that we all have, of course we're going to be imbalanced. And from the scales of consciousness where we are so focused on what we've been taught to be as far as society goes, when we start to give more of our awareness to the soul, the beyond dimensional creative spark of life, that even if we weren't planned, is still a perfect plan, a miracle in action, asking for our attention. And when we give our attention to that, we balance those masculine and feminine scales. And it is in that we become the neutralizer of our own internal polarities. And the feeling of it is profound beyond profundity. And for the men, when you become aware, because each organ, each gland, each system represents their own rooms in the temple of your being. And yes, if sexual energy is something that is so strong and powerful in you, turn that energy up into you. Let that orgasmic power lighten up parts of you that are dark, that are afraid, that are holding on to that little 1% of consciousness compared to the billions of non-consciousness that you are all of. You are that one and you are that billions. And when you bridge that by balancing all of these elements in you, that begins to bring the balance back. And from a personal level, when you neutralize or bring to balance all of that energy, from a personal level, you are neutralizing, or you have the ability to neutralize all of that ancestral stuff that you and I and all of us, for the most part, have inherited. And the more that we focus on that individually, and we feel that balance coming back into being with the super intelligence we really are, when we stay in that place or make a commitment to being in healthy matrimony with the most important relationship in all of our lives, or most of us anyway. Not only do you help cleanse your own karmic lineage or ancestry, but as you get good at doing that, you're also contributing that collectively to the patriarchy, to all the old, angry, ugly, white men who can't see beyond their own selfishness, their own greed, and they have dominated and domineered this world to a point where it will no longer remain this way for long. And if it does, there will be a reset. But it's nothing to be afraid of, because even all of that collective energy is the same non-consciousness that represents billions to one in you. And everything happening in the world around us, the war, the hate, all of that is this energy begging us to give attention to it, because it's only the light of our consciousness that can neutralize it. And no matter what you classify yourself as sexually is irrelevant. And I say that because it's a minority difference compared to the predominant elements that we all share. And when you get into that, you just seem to know what to do, because you realize that as this energy is allowing you to exist, it's also offering guidance. It's totally there to help you on every level of your being, including being the person in society or civilization that we mostly all have had impressed upon us. And this is only one meditation on this topic. Many more are going to come that address specific parts of it. So for those who want to stay in a deeper part of it now, then you can hang up or shut your phone or computer, whatever. And for those who want to come into a more waking state, just kind of slowly be aware of your whole body, from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. Be in all of it at once and move. And as you move, notice it. You are all of it. And the part of you that thinks you are who the world has taught you, that seems like it's in our prefrontal cortex, that same level of awareness can exist simultaneously in every section of your being. And even if you only become partially aware of that, your health, your optimism, that warrior within you that knows you are here to shine the light of your awareness on the darkest elements of our being, because it is all of everything, and it's all something that appears to be one way, but it's coming from something way greater, and we have the ability to work with ourselves, each other, and this world from that guidance. And so when you're ready, rub your hands together, get them nice and hot, create friction. And then when you're ready, take the palms of your hands and put them over your eyes so that it's complete darkness. And notice if you see or sense or detect anything. Because that is you, the soul reflective mirror that you're choosing to be. And there's going to be many more meditations on these topics, including a lot of short ones, again, too, because they can get long, because it's just infinity. It's just that way. So I love you guys. I'm glad you could make it through this if you chose to. And I'll see you soon.